Hey, it's Frank here with 4D Honeybee, and I'm going to do an inspection on a hive that was showing a lot of swarm characteristics. So it's my number 2 hive, new hive this year. It's been in for about, I'd say about 9 weeks. And at the 2-week sign, it was doing fine. At the 4-week sign, it showed a lot of sign of swarming. So they had built a whole bunch of queen cells. And what I did was I moved those frames over to another box and made a split off it. So I added a second hive body box to it, and I added some empty frames so the queen could find space to lay. So all I want to do is make sure, hopefully, that I've abated the whole swarming issue. Now, some say when they want to swarm, they're going to swarm and you can't stop them, and I tend to believe that because man only has certain abilities to control Mother Nature. But hopefully this queen is now happy with the additional laying room, with the second brood box, with the empty frames, but we'll see on 4D Honeybee. Now it's funny, it's my 5th year of beekeeping, and I still can't decide which angle is the best angle for the camera. Now the one thing I have introduced this year is this, a GoPro in the chest, and that helps me get some shots of when I'm holding the frames close for inspection, because you want to do things nicely for the camera because you want them to be good videos, but it can also affect your beekeeping because the best angle is really the angle that you see, right? Okay, so we're checking the lid here for a queen. No queen excluder here. I like the fact that there's a decent number of bees on the top of this box. That means they've moved up into the second brood body box here. And just looking at that, that's a good number of bees right in there. You love to see them bubbling up and out of that inner lid. These bees are not making a peep. I know bees really don't peep, but my point is they're not even buzzing. And that's a sign of a very content hive. And so far, these bees that I've gotten this year from Innisfil Creek Honey, they're not paying me for that endorsement, but I just say the facts as I know them. They have been incredibly calm. Look at that, wow. That's a lot of bees in the upper brood box, and that's a really good thing. Okay, so I'm going to check the lid for the queen. I've been doing a little better this year at spotting the queen. I've spotted the queen a number of times when I didn't actually expect to see her. So at the beginning it's relatively easier because you have fewer bees and fewer frames, but once you start getting into 2D bodies and supers and all that stuff, it gets pretty hard to spot the queen sometimes. But again, at the beginning you want to see the queen because it's neat. Part of it is ego driven, I have to say as well. But really, more important than actually seeing the queen most of the times is just seeing the activity that the queen is doing. So as long as you see what she's producing or not producing, that's more important. Oh, wow, there's a lot of bees up here. Nice and slow. There's a good number of bees up here. Now this is a honey frame that I put in, but they have it absolutely full of nectar. That's them, that's not me. And that is a great sign. They're getting a little honeybound, and what honeybound is for beginner beekeepers, wow, this is a really good mix. Hopefully you can see this really nicely on the GoPro. This is a mix of what they call, I can't remember what they call them, bee cakes, something cakes. So it's a mix of nectar and pollen, and it's what they feed the young bees. And there are a lot of young bees here. Look at the very small ones at the bottom. Those are brand new bees. So that's a good sign that they're hatching out brood. Again, very happy with the number of bees up in this second box. Now, as I go through this inspection, I have to decide what I want to do. Do I want to see every single frame up here? Probably not, but I certainly want to go through the middle, because if she's laying brood anywhere, she'll start in the middle, and there are some nice frames available there for her. So I just want to see what the queen is doing. It's a beautiful frame that I put in there that they cleaned out. They've cleaned up all the cappings off of, and it's ready to rock and roll for that queen. Look at that. Beautiful. This is a honey frame. Oh my gosh. It is heavy. And it is jam-packed with honey. Look at that. Wow. Looking for the queen on here. And you don't expect to see the queen on a honey frame, but she could be, and she has been before, so just spend a little bit of time looking for her. It's gorgeous out here. It is 26 degrees Celsius, which is about, I believe it's 79 Fahrenheit. Sun and cloud day. We had rain all day yesterday, so these bees should really be itching to be working today, because yesterday would not have been a work day for them. Would have been a slack day, and these bees don't get to slack very much. They don't know that there's a COVID pandemic. Okay, I'll keep, whoa, there's a wasp in there. Look at that. See that wasp that just flew away? Okay, let's get these bees back in the box. Let them deal with that intruder. So the honey frame I'll take a quick look at. This is a very empty frame. I think I will, I'll move this frame to the outside. Now, they say bees don't like it when you change their frames around, and that's probably true, but they haven't worked on this frame yet. And another frame that I've pulled out is absolutely perfectly ready to receive anything the queen wants to put in it. So that frame still needs to be drawn out. So I moved it out, and I will replace it with, was it the first one or the second one? I think it was the second one. So let's grab the second one here. Nice and easy. And just put that one in its place. Yeah, the queen likes to build from the inside out. She does make exceptions though, but generally she likes to build from the inside out. So I want the inside frames, the middle frames, to be very appealing to her. And here's another frame that needs a lot of work, and they're working to draw it out. Again, these I threw in there kind of in a hurry because this hive was swarming, right? So I needed them to know that they've got a ton of room right away. Leave that one right where it's at. Let's see what this one's doing. This is not the nicest frame. Filling this one up with nectar. It's got some old, no, that's honey. I was going to say it's got some old brood on it on the right side there, but that is honey. It's your left side, I guess. Just looking for the queen on here. Leave that one alone. And as you've noticed here, I'm what, 5-10 minutes into this inspection. I have not smoked these bees. They don't care. They are lovely, lovely critters. Okay, so they're filling up this box with nectar. Okay, so I've gotten a good idea that they are definitely in this top box and using it, which is exactly what I was hoping for. Now I'm just going to take a quick look at the bottom box, because I just want to make sure that they're not swarming, or they're not, oops, sorry, they're not making plans to swarm. And I got to find a spot for this box. Let's put it over here. Okay, so a good number of bees in this bottom box, for sure. That's great. And again, I just want to see what, if anything, they're doing with the new frames that I put in. I'm going to move the smoker a little further away because they're just great bees. You know, they don't need much smoke at all. Wow, this box is full of bees. I will tell you, I did not add the boxes or the frames a moment too soon. This is a beautiful honey frame. They're filling it up. See this side? Yeah, again, honey. And so I am looking for the queen here, but again, mostly I just want to know what she's doing as opposed to, you know, who she's dating, that type of thing. Another honey frame, which I'll just take a quick look at again, just to look for that queen. But in the next, after this one, the next 3 or 4 frames will tell the story of what's going on in this hive. Oh my goodness. This frame is just heavy, heavy, heavy with nectar and honey. Look at that capped honey. My goodness. Let's look for the queen here. Lots of drones, which is always good. Okay, keep this frame in the box. The queen can also reside on the side of the boxes as well, right? So she doesn't necessarily have to be on a frame. And I rarely, if ever, look at the sides of the boxes. Okay, what's going on in this frame? Okay, this is a really nice frame full of nectar and a whole whack of swarm cells. Wow, look at them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 swarm cells, all of which are capped. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. This is my hive that just keeps wanting to swarm. And we do have larvae in here. And eggs. So this is the frame the queen has been on in the last few days, laying, but she wants to get out. So look at this, here, I'll turn it around and show you the swarm cells upside down. Well, right side up there. See all the 5 of them right in the middle there? So I'm going to take this and make a new split out of it. Let's make sure the queen's not on this frame first. And again, I wasn't particularly planning on making splits today, but seeing that many bees and that many swarm cells tells me they want to go. So, if they're going to go, I might let them go, but I might just make another hive as well. Okay, so now I brought this 5-frame nuke just in case these bees were still wanting to swarm. If they are, then I thought I would make a split and just see how she goes here. I'll put some more resource frames in there and we'll go with another split. Now this frame is just jam-packed with bees. It's very light, so let's see what we got here. Well, looks like we've got, is that a queen? What the heck is that? Yes, that's the queen. Or is it a drone? Oh, that's a drone. That drone had his head in a cell. That just flew off there. And it made me think that somehow it was the queen in reverse. You gotta watch that you don't believe you want to find something so hard that you actually find it when it's not really happening. So very early in my beekeeping, I brought my dad out here. My dad is long retired, but his family had bees in the south of Spain. And he came out and had a look, and the first 2 or 3 drones he pointed at, he said they were queens. There's the queen. But then we were able to figure out that they were drones, and we did actually find the queen. Another jam-packed frame. This one doesn't have much in the way of resources on it, so I'm not going to take this one just now. Let's see if I can spot some eggs in here. Just looks like nectar on this side, and on this side. There could be eggs in there. So this frame we will leave. Let's see what we got here. Just having a look down in the bottom of the hive because these frames were stuck together and a lot of bees fell off when I unstuck them. Let's see what we got here. See, mostly nectar in here. Don't see any eggs on this frame, even though it's a real primo frame for eggs. So I really want to see signs of the queen in this hive. I can't even remember. Yeah, I did see the queen in this hive for sure. And it may be a case where the queen left before I was able to get to those splits. More supersedure cells here, more eggs and larvae. So I'm going to leave this one in here because if the queen has split already, and if I don't see her in here, I better leave some eggs. And this cell is just full of eggs. You can see there on the GoPro. And this side is full of nectar. I'll show you the other side that has all the eggs on it, all the queen cells. See all those supersedure cells? I count 1, 2, 3, 4. There's just more than I can count. There must be 15 of them on here. So they're definitely wanting to make a new queen. I'll take a look at one more frame here, and then I will just take resources for the split. And again, I'm leaving that one just in case the queen here has already left. That will allow them to make their own split. And this one is just jam-packed with honey and nectar. Yeah, just heavy, heavy, heavy with nectar. Okay, so I will probably take this frame as a resource. They need honey, they need nectar, they need pollen, right? And they need a lot of bees. So let's see. Where are there a lot of bees on this hive? Let's take a look at this frame here. Okay, this frame is full of honey and pollen and nectar. Yeah, this is perfect to be able to feed brood. I guess the problem is that we're not giving them any brood. There's no brood in this hive to give them, other than the one that's on the brood that's on the frame that's got all the swarm cells. So I will give them a couple more frames from the top box. I'll put the frames back in here, give them some new frames in here, and then we'll see what happens. I think you just gotta, I think from here on in, having the 2 splits from this hive is a good idea. It increases the likelihood that the genetics from this hive will stay. Now, maybe they're swarm genetics. I have had hives that wanted nothing but to swarm. But they're strong. There's a lot of bees in here. So I might even consider putting honey supers on it. But now this one hive has become 3, and there's a better likelihood that at least one of these 3 will survive. All right? One of these 3 will make the bees that keep them happy. Okay, I'm going to take this frame here too. This frame is just loaded with bees. But it's very empty as far as resources. So I'll just put this one at the end, and maybe they can use it as a honey frame. I'm going to look for the queen again. Do not see her. And now I'd really like to be able to grab one frame that has a lot of honey and a lot of bees on it. That might be the very end frame here, so I'm going to take a look at it. Well, there's not that many bees on it actually. Let's close that back up. Okay, so that's my second split of the season. Not really an intended split, but you gotta do what you think is right for the bees and best for the survival of the colony. So I will put some empty frames in this bottom box. Again, if the queen is still in there and she's wanting to lay, this will give her a lot of room, that's for sure. But I got the feeling that this is going to be one of those hives that's just constantly in swarm mode. It may be that the queen's already left actually. And there's not going to be all that much that I can do about it. So in go a couple of empty frames here. Now even after all that, at this point the bees, they're starting to get a little loud, but they're not bouncing off my veil yet. They're not getting my hands. These bees are amazingly calm, and I hope I can be worthy of them and keep them properly. Okay, so now I've got to just let this hive be for a while. So I will not go into this hive for another week, simply because I've taken 2 splits on it. I've taken a number of bees off it. And we've just got to let this hive do what it's going to do. Either it's going to produce a new queen, or its queen maybe has already split, or whatever. But I always find in beekeeping, as in life in general, sometimes you can get to a point where your help is actually hurting more than it's helping. And that's the stage where I think I'm at with this hive. I will not try to help or hurt it anymore, at least for a week. I'll give it a week and see how it goes. And we got another split off it, so it's not all that bad, right? Lots of bees in here. They look really healthy. The question is, why are they swarming so much and so often? Again, a lot of people say that when they want to swarm, they're going to swarm and you can't stop them. I have had swarm traps out before. I've had bees swarm right past them, and I've never caught them. So from the looks of the numbers of this hive, I'd say they haven't swarmed yet, because there's still a lot of bees in there. And their temperament, their demeanor kind of says that there's a queen in there. So we'll just let it rest for a week, and we'll see what we get. That 4D honeybee.